Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Warzone has seen a lot of updates in its time, right? Like usually we see 2 to 3 title updates per season with new weapon tuning and new content, bug fixes, game adjustments, and all the like. We also get some smaller updates randomly to change things or to fix immediate issues. Like updates are no stranger to Warzone, yet at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of things the game could improve on. Some big things, some small things, all things that could improve the overall state of the game. So as we go over them all, if you enjoy the video at any point, a like rating would be seriously appreciated. It's the best way to share the video around if you agree on anything I bring up and you want to see it changed. And of course, if you are new to the channel or if you haven't already subscribed, this is the place to be for everything going on in COD, news, updates, tips, loadouts, all that stuff. So feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. So at the end of the day, these changes that I want to see made are just my opinions, but overall, I see everything as a way to sort of make Warzone more engaging and more fun for every player. And if you have any additional things you want to see added to the game or changed by the end of the video if I don't cover them in this, let me know those down in the comments below. But first up, this may seem like a small change in the grand scheme of things, but it's something that I feel like constantly has an impact in game, and that is the gas mask animation. I really feel like we should have some sort of way to just manually toggle the gas mask on or off. Like that should be a setting in the game. You can go ahead and you can change the gas mask animation from automatic, where it'll naturally automatically deploy if the gas hits you, or if you're running into the gas, and it'll take it off when you get out of the gas. Or you could switch it to manual deploy or manual toggle on, where you could press a D-pad button or a certain key on your keyboard and it would put the mask on, and you could take it off the same way. I don't know how many different gunfights I've been in, like especially late game if you're trying to play a rotation and the zone's moving in a really inconvenient way and you just get like the unlucky pull. How many times I've gone to start shooting at somebody and suddenly the mask is like, hey, hi, how you doing? I'm here too, I want some attention, and suddenly you have to full hip fire in a 30 or 40 meter fight, and it's pretty much just a death sentence at that point, right? Like you're not going to outgun someone who either doesn't have to deal with that animation or already has their mask on, or maybe they have a durable and they're chilling in zone. Like the gas mask animation has been the cause of death for me multiple times, and I see this in the comments all the time from you guys as well. It's obnoxious. I feel like just a simple toggle option in there would be super useful. Say you just press down on the D-pad when you want to throw it on and you're good to go. It could be used really strategically too in that sense. So I feel like an upgrade to the gas mask animation and an ability to toggle it on or off would be a huge game-changing update, despite it being such a small thing in retrospect, right? Now, next up, this is a change that I feel like a lot of the community has been asking for more frequently, and that is just more impactful map updates. Really, we don't see these all that much, and the ones that we do see in Warzone aren't to any large scale. Like for instance, with the whole Season 5 update, what do we get on Verdansk 84? We got a change to the red doors where you now have more options once you teleport through one. We saw like the mobile broadcast stations, which are different every game and they give you a little bit of loot, but it's nothing too crazy. And we also have these red containers all across the map too. Nothing significant though. Like, yeah, there's new containers in the middle of Stadium. Like we have this really cool universe and really cool environment with Verdansk between the OG map and now this one, and we really haven't ever seen anything crazy minus the overall aesthetic change from regular Verdansk to Verdansk 84, then also the nighttime changes. I personally really like the whole Nakatomi Plaza update, where it really had an impact on gameplay. You had a reason to stop dropping Superstore or Hangars or Boneyard and go to downtown and try and get the specialist bonus and the $100,000. Like that was a really cool update. We just don't see that enough though, where a whole new area is added that completely replaces a current name location, or a current name location has like a whole revamp and buildings are destroyed or new buildings are added and there's new, rush routes and loot routes through these areas. We just don't see any crazy game impacting updates. It's more so like face value changes and some small lore based changes, which don't get me wrong, I love the storyline and the lore of Warzone. But for gameplay, it does get a little bit monotonous when the map just doesn't really ever drastically change. And if we're gonna have maps for a year on end, it's gotta change in some major way to keep that gameplay feeling fresh and feeling fun, right? So major map changes, I feel like, is something we really need to see more often. This next one, obvious, we're just gonna quickly, just breeze past this one because it's something we've talked about time and time again over the past few months. An anti-cheat, we know they're working on stuff there, so hopefully it's something that's actually going to really fix the game, because obviously, regardless of how many cool changes happen in Warzone, if there's still constant cheaters, none of it really matters. So yes, obviously an anti-cheat is a big change we need to see as well. But moving past that, when it comes to loadouts specifically, something that I feel like is getting a little bit old is the fact that all the attachments on all the guns pretty much work the same exact way. And by that I mean there's not really much diversity when it comes to attachments. Like, I get that a GRU suppressor is going to need to keep you off the radar and help out with the recoil a little bit, but like when it comes to different barrels or different underbarrels or some of the stocks or magazines, it's pretty much like a copy and paste setup for the vast majority of weapons in the game. Like for Modern Warfare weapons, for any ranged weapon there, it is the monolithic suppressor and the longest barrel, and usually a hollow sight or a VLK 3x optic. On the Cold War SMGs, it's pretty much the exact same setup for every single one of them, with the GRU suppressor and the task force barrel, the largest magazine, a Tiger Team spotlight or an underbarrel, and then like the Raider stock or the skeletal stock. Like, loadouts just don't feel like they are that diverse. Yeah, you can use a lot of different weapons, but all the attachments are going to be the same. So I think it would be cool if we had more diverse and more unique attachments put into the game, where every single weapon had something cool that it could do that a different weapon couldn't do. Like if you had special optics on certain guns, that could be really cool. So they're really, really good for like longer range fights, or there's a close range one that does something special. Like, I don't know, there's like an infinite sea of ideas when it comes to a unique attachment that any given weapon could have. But I feel like these copy and paste setups for all the main meta weapons is not something that's allowing the game to feel super fresh, regardless of what season you're jumping into, or you know, what weapon you're using on any given day. They're all the same setups the vast majority of the time. Anyway, moving on, something that I feel like would be absolutely awesome to have in Warzone is some kind of grapple gun. And obviously, as we look towards the future, we look towards Vanguard and going back in time, I don't see that being a super realistic option, unfortunately, because grapple guns just don't really fit the whole realism part of the game. But they would be so cool. Like, if you were a big Blackout player, I loved Blackout, by the way, and the grapples in that game were elite. They allowed you to make some awesome plays. They really allowed for a better movement skill gap. And in this game especially, we have so many different buildings that are one way in, one way out. And that allows players to camp on top of rooftops with no real repercussions. We have rock faces that are seemingly impossible to climb, despite the fact that we are trained combat and military veterans in game as our characters. So you get to like one of those late zones in, like, say, the summit area, and you're on the bottom and the zone moves the wrong direction. That's an insta-death because you can't scale that surface. So like, I feel if we had a grapple gun in the game, so many gunfights and so many rotations and engagements would play so differently, and it'd be a really unique way to spice up gameplay and really allow for there to be a different skill gap, so good players can really capitalize if they had like the 5 grapples per game that you'd find out of a chest or out of the buy station. Obviously, it'd have to have its limits to keep it in check, but I do feel like a grapple gun would be absolutely awesome to have. Do I see it happening? No, but I wanted to bring it up because I think it would be really cool. Next up, this is going to sound like an extremely small feature, but it is one that I run into all the time: auto mantling. There's no way to turn off auto mantling, and I can't tell you how many times in a gunfight I'm trying to like hit a B hop or do it like usual jump shot, and my dude is aiming down sights, and all of a sudden I mantle backwards over like a surface that I'm not even looking at, my character can't see. I don't know how it's physically possible for my man to hold a gun, aim down sights, and somehow launch himself backwards over a crate or a wall, but auto mantling is really, really awkward in certain fights because it takes priority over other things going on in games. So simply being able to turn that off, or at least not allow your character to mantle backwards in an important scenario, would be really cool. It's been a feature that we've seen in other games, turning off auto mantles, so I would hope that we'd be able to get that in the future with Warzone. It doesn't seem like it's the most extreme thing, so I feel like that one is relatively doable. So yeah, those are a handful of the changes I would like to see added to Warzone at some point in the future. Will any of these ever actually be introduced? Who knows? If you enjoy these ideas and you want to see them implemented, feel free to drop a like on the video. It does share it around. You never know who from Raven or Call of Duty might see this and say, hey, this Zach guy, he knows what he's talking about. Maybe we do got to add that in. You never know what could happen. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like on it. And of course, if you guys are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. That way you can always stay up to date with everything going on in Call of Duty. Once again, and as always, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.